Hey, welcome back to another episode of Geeks from the Multiverse. We are doing another geeky chat, and of course, we're going to be talking some DC news, and we're talking Marvel news, and it's 2025, so we have new content to dive into, so let's get geeky. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Geeks from the Multiverse. I am one of your hosts, Matt, aka Mr. Grumpy Beard.
And as always, it's Joan, aka Captain Lestage, as always. And yes, today we're going to be talking about EU. And is it DCU or is it DCEU now?
Maybe both.
It could be one or the other. Anyways, and then it's the MCU and all this other shit that's going on with both of them worlds because
they could be both the EU.
You nasty. No,
You're nasty. You're gross.
No, I mean, it's crazy to me that, we're in 2025, and we're talking about how superhero movies, like when we were watching it way back when, they were the greatest things known to man at one point. Now it's like, what the fuck are we doing? And why is this even the case now? And where's our heads at? Because I feel like they're up our ass somewhere. And where are the writers actually coming up with this shit? I don't know.
I think like there's so much hype. It's like, hey, there's Superman's coming out, and hey, we're doing this. We're having Fantastic Four. It's gonna be great, and we get all excited, and then the actual thing comes out, and we watch it, and it's like,
what the fuck is this shit?
This is the best that you could do.
And then how are you going to tie this to what was really going on? And are you sure this is the greatest? Are you sure that's the greatest person to be playing this role in this particular setting?
So we'll get to the Marvel. Let's start with the DCU because I feel like and we said, we had a geeky chat before where, we talked about Marvel, we talked about DC, which one was better, which one, Marvel versus DC. And I did, I felt like DC was going to kind of, at one point, maybe trump what Marvel was doing. But like, I really don't know, like after seeing like the lineup for both of these, I really feel like we are just the losers here.
Oh, so you're saying that we suck and that everyone else...
I feel like we are losing because of the content that they're both putting out. Like, we're not the losers.
We're gaining a lot from this.
We're losing.
Yeah, we're losing as a whole. And I think I agree with you, Matt, because honestly, Matt and I have been... don't get me wrong. I love Marvel for what they are and blah, 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 for the most part. For the most part. I never said the whole thing. And I love DC in certain ways. But here's the issue is that now we're in the age of 2025, moving forward, we're in this like middle ground, and this is where it's just frustrating. It's a lot of things all happening at once, like Marvel, I will say it. Marvel's had its time, it had its great moments. It had all this stuff. It made what Marvel is today. DC, on the other hand, is now trying to play catch up. And the problem is we both know is that there's no way in hell that they're going to try to figure out how to pull this out of their ass.
Yeah,
and try to remake all the shit that they've just tried for years.
I think they're just trying to find their identity at this point. And the very first thing that I'll say is like James Gunn has been pretty, he's been pretty vocal as of late. But like right now, like with Superman coming out, I think it's June. We'll get to there, but. It is coming out this year, a little bit later on this year, and his DC universe right now, basically Superman and Batman already exist. So at the start of Superman, he already has existed. So we're not getting, a Superman origin story. It's not going to be like you see the start of Superman, you see, like little child coming from, crypt. No, you're not seeing all of that shit. Like, you're going to see a Superman that's already established. He's already who he is. He's already existed. He's already been doing, Superman things. Same thing with Batman. Whoever the Batman that we're going to see in James Gunn's, DC universe, he's already existing. We're not going to see the origin story of a Batman. They're basically going to just do a story on Batman.
So what I find interesting is also so again, Superman, right? If it's just called Superman, I feel like they should have literally named it something else. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like that. But I mean, like, because I'll admit, with the whole Brave and the Bold, I mean, granted, that was a actual TV show, was Batman Brave and the Bold. That was an animated show that they did a little while back. But like, at least that, you brought some other twist to it, with Batman at least. With Superman, I'm like, there's other things you could have done. You could have named it something different or whatever. Not just Superman. We've
Leotard Man.
Well, no, I'm just
what are you gonna name it?
I'm just saying, like, look at the comics, man. Like, look back at look at a name and just be like, all right, cool. We're gonna start with this one. The Brave and the Bold was something that, yes, Batman had. It was something they've already done before, but it's different, is what I'm saying. Superman. There you go. Hey, look, Superman. I'm just saying, there's only so much you can do. I get it, but like, I feel like you could do another name for it. If it's just Superman.
What I hate about the the lineup, and is there's so much beyond, like, maybe Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Superman, Peacemaker season 2, and Creature Commandos, which already ended. The last episode was January 9th.
I haven't even seen that. I have to see that now.
But everything is to be announced. There's no dates on anything, so you don't know when any of this shit's actually coming out. But like,
watch, it'll like drop a trailer and they're like, oh, by the way, it's coming out right now.
I do like that they're skipping the origin story and going right to where the characters are established. I do like that, because like, we don't need to see generally, like, you can do flashbacks, you can do different things to show where they came from, without having to go back and go, do all that. But the problem is, if you don't do like the origin story, you do lose context on some of these like complex histories, like the death of parents or the start of a villain and their history with said villain.
Right. No,
that's where you lose the history, right? Like,
so this is where they could make a movie, and then like, I'm not saying they would, but if they wanted to make a prequel or something down the road, they could do that. I mean, that's not like they couldn't do it. It's just, it's gonna work half.
It makes it tough, and DC will do what DC does, and they'll go, well, we'll just fucking reboot it, because that's what we do.
And that's the problem. That's why I'm saying with James Gunn, it's like, I understand that he was trying to be the Kevin Feige of this world. The problem is he knows better. That's the problem. He knows better, but I hope he knows what the fuck he's doing, because if not, I'm telling you, because the fact that Blue Beetle is now the first superhero, out of this whole thing, and then now you're adding all these other, basically, I'm going to say retards, because it just seems like you've already. To me, like, Blue Beetle never should have been the first movie in this world.
No, I think it was Superman should have been the very first one, but I mean, nobody really knows, unless you read the comics and you know a lot about DC. Nobody knows who Blue Beetle is.
No, I mean, you're right. I mean, like I said, we know who Blue Beetle is, but it's just, again, if you don't read or if you don't know like who he is, technically that's not the first version of Blue Beetle. That is like the second. I want to say it's the second version, but like, again. The point is, you don't know unless you've at least known the history of it, but that's not the point here.
So, the chapter 1 is for the DCU right now. They're in chapter 1, which is their gods and monsters. So one of the animated shows that has already happened was Creature Commandos. The best way I could explain the show is Suicide Squad. That's the best way I could explain it.
Well,
because
did you actually watch it or no?
I did. It's an animated version of Suicide Squad.
I'd have to watch that because now I'm curious.
I mean, it's a pretty decent show. You know, it is what it is. I mean,
so you watching Peacemaker season 2?
I fucking
I know because I asked you this question before.
I fucking hate John Cena, and I know his outfit looks like the comic book, but I hate that stupid metal helmet. I don't like John Cena, and I did not watch season 1.
I know. See, I did because I wanted to know the story, and it follows the reboot of the Suicide Squad because they didn't do anything with the first one, so they said, "Hey, fuck it, we're going to name the same thing, but the Suicide Squad in 20 whatever the." Fuck
I mean, Peacemaker season 2 will come out in August of this year,
which I'll probably end up watching and let you know.
And I probably won't watch it at all.
I'll let you know what it is, but yeah.
So Lanterns, which is going to be a live action show, that's to be announced.
This is where I'm going to say I don't know how I feel about this because we all know what happened with the Green Lantern movie.
The one thing that does get me excited about the story, at least, is that what James Gunn has said is that the story is going to be an Earth-based detective story, basically like a huge HBO quality event in the style of the True Detective series. I love the True Detective series on HBO is great.
I'm not saying it's not. To me, they need to get this done right because they had one shot a long time ago.
Well, the fact that Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart are the Green Lanterns in the and that are going to be in the show is great.
I'm a little surprised about that because technically Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, they're not technically Green Lanterns at the same time. Technically. Well, I'm just saying because technically Hal Jordan is
James Gunn's universe. I understand. Whatever.
To me, it doesn't make any sense. But it's fine. Whatever you want to do, James Gunn. And then Waller, which is interesting.
Waller, I believe, is Waller. I think in Paradise Lost. I can't speak for Booster Gold.
Well, Booster Gold. Well,
I think possibly the three of these, at least Paradise Lost and Waller, are supposed to be animated.
Well, and see,
Waller is definitely animated, but
okay, because I was wondering about that. And then, so Booster Gold. I mean, if you don't, this is where I know a little bit about him. So Booster Gold. I mean, granted, whether it's animated or not animated, so he was a superhero from the future. Basically, comes back. I think it was like the year 3000 or whatever, or year whatever. Comes back. He basically wears a suit that he's a regular human being, but basically just knows the future and like uses that technology to his advantage, which literally is a robot that uses. But basically, that's his power. Is like he knows the future and he knows certain things, but he has like this suit that's basically allows him to do certain things. But like his robot butler thing that flies around with him literally does majority of this. And he's actually an arrogant asshole is really what Booster Gold is.
I like gold.
I like them gold. No, I'm just joking. We're totally two different people here. No, but I mean, Booster Gold is, I mean, it's kind of weird because I remember, again, this is more like the animated like kind of series of like Batman. It was more, actually it was the Brave and the Bold actually was the one I remember seeing him in. But no, like
and some of these, may not actually be in 25. Like I think
this is probably gonna be later.
Maybe Waller, Paradise Lost, and Booster Gold may not be until like 27 or 28.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what I mean. That Booster Gold. I mean, so if it's live action, then I'll be very surprised. But
and this is the thing, like we're getting Peacemaker, we're getting Creature Commandos, and we're getting Superman. But like the next few, like Supergirl. June 26th of 26.
Right. And and here's the thing about that too, with Supergirl, I don't know who it is now, like whoever it's going to be.
I know that they showed I think just recently, like maybe today or yesterday, they showed a picture.
Was it the same?
It was a back shot. So I don't know.
Okay. Damn.
It was like the back of her head.
The reason why I was going to ask was it the same girl that played her in The Flash? Was it?
I can guarantee you it's not.
Okay, good. As long as it's not her, that didn't still make any sense to me. But
yeah, that one's going to be in 26. But there will be a Clayface movie, and these are all films,
right? Which I'm surprised there's a Clayface movie.
A Clayface movie, The Authority.
See, I don't remember who the fucking Authority is.
Brave and the Bold, which is the
version of Batman.
James Gunn said this will be Batman's entry into the DCU and will feature Batman and Robin.
Which I find that interesting because, typically you'd think you'd want to show Batman first without Robin. just to get that kind of going, and then you bring in Robin? Because I'm wondering which Robin. You know, there's Tim Drake, there's Jason Todd, there's what the hell's his name? It's his actual son. It's Wayne. Damn it, I'm trying to remember his actual name. Because anyways, like Talia al Ghul, like it was their son together. But anyways, there's like so many different versions of Robin. So my point is you know, I'm curious to know which Robin they're going to start with. But that's just a different story here. But you know, Swamp Thing.
So the authority is from what this says, it's the anti-Justice League is what they were a team of cynical, brutally pragmatic superheroes.
I've never heard of that. I don't remember even.
So that's what the authority is.
Okay. I don't remember that name, but okay. And then Swamp Thing, which, you know, it's funny, you know, Matt and I, we've talked about, yes, there was an actual TV show based on Swamp Thing. You know, wasn't very popular. I'm pretty sure I think we tried looking it up once to see if you can even watch it again, but I don't think there was a way to
So apparently to this, and to go back to Brave and the Bold, apparently in this, Robin is Damian Wayne.
See, why would you skip? That's a long jump. You went from Tim Drake, Jason Todd to Damian. That's who I was thinking of, Damian Wayne. That is a long-ass jump. I'm just saying, that is a long... There better be some explanation behind that, because...
So that's going to be the Robin that will be in...
Yeah, and technically, if you look at that Batman with Damian Wayne, he's a lot older.
So,
like, he's not as young, you know, like his early 20s.
Like I said, that Batman's already established. So, you know, you could say that the other Robins that preceded Damian Wayne have already died or moved on, whatever. But I don't know.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, that's a long jump, because you're looking from literally Nightwing to now Damian Wayne, his son. So I look, man, I'm just telling you.
I'm not making this shit up.
I know you're not making this shit up. I just find it interesting. That's a long time.
Swamp Thing, it's been noted as a gothic horror film exploring the dark origins of Swamp Thing, which I find interesting. Only because I like horror movies, and having it being a gothic horror film is interesting to me.
Well, I thought also
I don't think Swamp Thing necessarily was a gothic horror, or he had dark I really don't think he had dark origins, but like I find it interesting. But like
I found it like, well, you thought it was interesting because you watched that show when it came out like a long time ago.
The Swamp Thing show, and I wanted to watch it for the longest time, and then when it was finally available to watch, like I thought it was a really good show.
Right.
Like
well,
it was really interesting, and it was really, really good, and I thought that they really did a great job. Like most of the other DC shows that were on that network, like, you know, Titans and some of the other ones, like they were actually really fucking good shows.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, some of them were, yes, and some of them were not so hot, in my opinion. But
like looking at the lineup, like I'm not overly thrilled, dude. Like the films, the TV shows, seeing how spread out they are. I mean, I guess I'm kind of like, it's kind of nice that they're spreading them out so far, like where they're not going to be focusing on, you know, like what Marvel's doing is basically doing like movie. Like, hey, let's do 3 movies this month. Like, no, fuck you. Don't do that. But like, they're so spread out. Like you might get 1 movie a year. And then you're doing all these stupid animated shows, maybe a live action here, and then 2 more animated shows. And on the flip side of this, you have a Matt Reeves Batman universe right now that is putting up DC's best content right now. Like they are driving the DC universe right now with like the Batman, the Penguin show. Like they are driving the DC universe right now. I mean,
DC Elseworlds, baby. I mean, our favorite quote that we used to always say, and we haven't said it in a while. Well, no, I mean, it's true. I mean, because you are right. I mean, the fact that the Penguin, that show, it has done so freaking well that it is mind-boggling to me that, I mean,
their best stuff, and that's not the Batman. Like that Robert Pattinson Batman,
I know it's not
the DCU Batman.
No, but the best part is aren't they planning on doing another Batman movie?
Yes, there's gonna be 2 more.
And it's not even going to be a part of this world.
But at this point, like, they don't know because they're still writing the damn script, so it might not be until 27.
No, I'm just saying, though. I just think it's funny.
Be made, and, you know, yeah, I mean, they have enough content to do these 2 movies, but, like, it's their best content.
I know, and that's the sad part. I mean, it's pretty sad that when you're talking about...
And we're going to get a Batman in this Brave and the Bold that's going to be a fucking old man.
Pretty much is what I just said.
And a Robin, who's Damian Wayne.
Who's his son.
Who you're probably going to end up having doing, like, James Gunn will probably end up converting that to what? Batman Beyond. That's exactly what it'll end up being.
I know, and that's my fucking point.
It'll be a Batman Beyond where you won't even get Batman because now it'll be his son that will take over that role, and it'll be the dumbest fucking thing.
Here's the problem with Batman Beyond. Technically, I mean, once you find out in the show later on, it's a clone. It was his clone that he cloned a long time ago. He like infused his body, whatever. That's all it was, but not the point. I just find it interesting though that that you're right, that it probably would end up being like that because you're going to have some guy who's probably in his like 60s, 70s at this point, depending on how old they want to portray him. Or if they're, I don't know.
I would really like to, like, hey, let's wait and see because we don't know. Like, let's wait and see. But, like, I just, if they don't portray him as, like, even like a 40-something-year-old guy doing Batman with a son who's, you know, maybe, you know, teens or whatever, well, then that would be like something I could be like, okay, like, hey, you know, 18, 20, like, okay, like, let's do this. But like, if you're going to have some 55, 60-year-old Batman with a 21-year-old Robin running around, like, this dude is going to die. Because as strong as Batman is, like, there's no way he's going to go 2, 3, 4 movies.
Well, and not here's my other problem is, like I said, when you start to look at, you know, like, again, when you have Damian Wayne in this case, yes, technically Batman is like probably, like you just said, in his like 40s ish, I would say, because, you know, you already had Nathan Drake, or not Nathan Drake. Why am I saying that? Tim Drake. You have Tim Drake, and then of course Jason Todd. Jason Todd dies, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. So again, you've already progressed through 2 of them.
Well, you would have also had Dick Grayson way before that.
Oh shit, that's who I was thinking of, Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
Not Tim Drake. Wait, no, was there? Yeah, so Dick Grayson, was it? No, well, there was no Tim Drake, was there?
There were 3 before.
Was it Tim Drake? Jason? I can't remember that's my fucking point, is that there's too many of them, and that, you know, trying to get them all in that short time frame, you know, yes, there's a lot of them, and that's the issue, is like you're trying to get them.
But you do,
together.
I mean, you technically do see, you know, you don't see who he is, obviously, but you do see Batman in the Creature Commandos briefly, but you do see him in that show. So he, like I said, he is in existence. It's just like, who are we going to get? Like, how old is he going to be? Is he going to be like a good Batman? Or is he going to be an aging Batman that is eventually just going to age out and we're going to get like a Batman Beyond situation, which they should do a Batman Beyond.
Later on.
Batman is a legacy character. You can't just poo-poo a Batman and go, oh yeah, we're going to move away from... You don't move away from Batman.
No, not that quickly.
You can't have a DC universe with a Superman and not have a valid fucking Batman in it.
Well, and that's what I keep saying is like
you might as well move away from Superman at that rate.
You're right. You're absolutely right, because at that point you might as well just have everybody the fuck else. Why don't you have Flash or somebody like being the lead at that point, or Green Arrow or whomever? You know, just fucking throw some people out there and call it a day.
I don't know. It's just not thrilling to me.
Well, Marvel's no fucking better, bud.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely shift gears. You know, I mean, we're still in phase 5 of Marvel. I mean, it'll officially end with Ironheart. You know.
Well, I mean, it's pretty sad that is the end. right there is that Phase 5 will end with Ironheart.
Ironheart, yeah. So Phase 5 in 2025, it ends June 25th with Ironheart, which is a show, obviously. We got Daredevil March 4th. An animated Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is January 29th, which is right around the corner, actually.
Which I'm more... See, this is where it's frustrating because, when you're looking at, Captain America, Brave New World, I'm curious to see what it's like. I'm honestly not going to go to the theaters to watch this. I'm probably just going to wait until it comes out because I'm not going to sit there and want to watch it literally right as it comes out. Because I don't think it's going to be that exciting to me, personally.
I probably would go to Chunky's and just not order food. But that would be me.
I guess maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe you and I will go. Maybe we'll just go together that one movie. Thunderbolts, definitely. I'll probably just wait until it comes out because I don't think I want to watch and sit there because that one just seems too much hassle, especially because
it seems like one of the Marvel when they do these movies and it's like okay, they kind of have like these filler movies, you know what I mean? Like
Thunderbolts is definitely one of those filler movies.
They're not really like super great, but they're like high action, they're high energy, they keep your attention because like they're that high energy, they're just high action.
Well, they just also need to figure out what are they going to do with all these characters.
But they don't feed the context at all. It just basically like Thunderbolts is to, I think, probably push forward the narrative of whatever comes after, and that's Phase 6, because it's literally the last movie of Phase 5.
Well, hold on. Before we get to Phase 6, the one actual show that I've been waiting for the longest time, and I think you are too, was Daredevil. Been so excited to see Daredevil. But here's the other thing that I don't know about, because I know we haven't really seen a lot of the trailers or anything, but like some of the images that we've been getting, I feel like they've been a little bit weird. I don't know why. I don't know if it was like the costume design or like what he looked like or whatever. I mean,
as far as I know, he's back to the regular red.
I thought he was like a white or like he had like a beard going on or something different. I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but I thought it was something different.
No, I mean, as far as the trailer I saw, he looked like he had the normal suit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then maybe I'm wrong. So I don't know. I mean, either way, I'm still interested to see this show because this is the only show that I know we both been like, yeah, we've been hyping this for because it's been talked about for so fucking long that we haven't seen it in so long.
And John Bernthal's Punisher is supposed to be in this show, so that's what I'm also excited to see. How they bring him back. Is he going to be the Punisher that we saw at the end of the Netflix show? Or are they going to do more of the bullshit before in the first earlier part? Because if they do if he's like the full-fledged I'm the Punisher, that's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, so this is the funny part too. Now I'm thinking about it. I love how Marvel is one of the only few places that you'll see like how people, or at least fans, will say, hey, these are the people that you should get to play these, particular roles. Because, what's funny, if DC was smart, they would have gone to the CW shows and took some of those people and actually put them in the fucking, the actual DCU universe. Because that to me would have made more sense. Because there was a lot of people.
It really depends because sometimes those people that are actors in shows haven't been in movies and they're radically different.
No, I understand, but I mean, you're talking, what the hell's his name? The guy who played Flash,
Grant Gustin.
Yeah, Grant Gustin. Why wouldn't you want him to play a Flash?
Certainly better than the other.
Yeah, the other Ezra Miller, the guy who fucking,
douchebag that played him.
Yeah, the guy who got accused of assault and a few other things, and now he's in fucking jail for it. So yeah,
certainly would run fucking better in a movie.
Well, there you go, and that's my point. Is you can add even Green Arrow. You can add so many other people to this, and you can actually start bringing in actual, what I would think is potential serious actors. To bring it the big screen, for God's sakes. I mean. There's definitely quite a few that you could have brought in. I just think it's stupid that they don't want to do that. But Marvel at least was like, hey, you know what? We did a really great job with this whole Daredevil, Punisher, Kingpin. Oh yeah, let's bring these guys back. Hello, and then guess what? Everyone's like, "Oh my god, I'm excited!" And you're like, "Wow, that's smart." Like maybe you should bring those people back. Maybe you should bring.
Yeah, but they do the shit like with Daredevil, and then it's like, well, we killed Iron Man, so hey, let's do it. Like let's try to bring Ironheart. Yeah.
Well, who the fuck is Ironheart? Because nobody knows who that is. Unless you read the new comics.
And it's kind of like, okay, well, what's the purpose for that? Like, what is the purpose for like, what purpose does Ironheart serve in the greater Marvel universe right now?
No, I mean, that's why I said, unless you read like the newer shit that's going on in the comics, like you're not going to know who the fuck Ironheart was. We sure as shit didn't know who Ironheart was either until they started talking about her. We had to look her up a little bit and kind of figure out what the fuck was going on. But, and then like the films, right? So Phase 6, we're kind of moving forward here because, you're looking at the Fantastic Four. So this is where I'm still fucking confused on why this is set the way it's set. So yes, it is set in the 1960s. I just don't understand why they have to do it way back when. I mean, hopefully there'll be some explanation. Of course, keeping an open mind is, kind of key to this. But like, having that said, it's just, there has to be some reason, and I'm really hoping they have a really good explanation. Because if they don't, I don't have a fucking clue.
I don't know, because you have to somehow carry the Fantastic Four. I mean, it is, Fantastic Four first steps. But somehow you have to carry them through, and maybe we're, not seeing, I mean, I can't imagine you're not seeing them without powers.
Well, no, I was thinking about it. I didn't even realize that was the name of the movie. It was the Fantastic Four First Steps.
Yeah, that's the name of the movie.
I guess they just made that because I didn't see that before. But
I mean, it is set in the 60s. So it's an alternate timeline. Like, MCU is set in modern time. So, I mean, even if it's set in 2020, you still have to go from the 60s to today. Like, you can't have the Fantastic Four just be 90-year-old people.
Yeah, and you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. And that's why I'm saying that, is because they have to have some great explanation, because if they don't, there's going to be some major splitting to do.
So, yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I guess, like the DC, it's like you have to wait and see, keep an open mind until you see the movie. Galactus is obviously in the movie because they casted for it.
Well, better fucking be.
We talked about this movie in the previous episode when we did the geeky chat, but like, the female version of the Silver Surfer, it's like, why? How do you get the female version without the male version? Because in the comic book, that didn't happen.
I mean, like I said, man,
the male version gave the female version.
And didn't we talk about how technically the Silver Surfer wasn't even described as a male or female? It looked like a male. It wasn't technically. It was genderless in a sense.
Pretty much, but I mean,
but it looked like a male.
I mean, it was a Silver Surfer, and it had, Shia LaBeouf was obviously a female that was in love with him.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that in general, I mean, there was just certain body parts, the lower part, wasn't really shown.
I think if you're looking at the comic book, you're assuming he's a male because of the way he's drawn.
Correct, and his muscles and things of that nature. But that's all I'm saying, is that's why I'm saying it technically was a genderless being, but technically drawn as a male.
Right.
I get that. I'm just saying in general that's why I'm saying when you have a female now being the Silver Surfer, you're just like, okay, so what happened to?
I mean, she technically became a Silver Surfer, but it was only because like he used part of his power to save her from dying.
Right. Again,
because they were lovers, but
again, I know it's a lot of shit.
It's a lot of weird stuff, and I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming the movie will come together, but like the Fantastic Four is the last movie before Avengers Doomsday, which is May 1st.
So this one,
26.
This one, I really don't know about either, because I mentioned this to Matt earlier.
The cast is supposed to be bigger than Endgame.
Well, no, see, that's the thing, and that's not the only thing. I think the biggest thing for me is I really want to know what they're going to do with the whole RDJ being Doctor Doom, because you and I have talked about it, and we've mentioned this before. I don't understand, unless they're, like you said, unless this is like an alternate timeline, basically him switching bodies with, Reed, and basically him.
Like I said, I think it follows. I think it probably will follow the What If comic.
Right. I mean,
that's what makes the most sense of doing that. Like where he looks like Tony Stark. Like, as soon as you have somebody like Robert Downey Jr. playing a character, he's not leaving a mask on.
No, he's going to take it off.
So as soon as characters see him, it's not like they're going to see like Superman and Clark Kent and be like, "Oh, hey, Clark," and be like, "You totally don't look like Superman just with glasses on."
No, that doesn't work that way. That doesn't work that way.
Like you don't just see like somebody who looks like Tony and be like, "Oh, hey, Victor, how's it going?"
Hey, see you later, bud. No,
I don't just show up to work like maybe with a different haircut and they go, "Who the hell are you?" "Oh, I'm Frank." And like, "Oh, hey, Frank." Like, no, they're gonna go, "Hey, nice haircut, Matt." Like,
yeah, you jackass. What happened to Frank? You're like, who the fuck is this guy? No, no, and that's the thing. I mean, that's why I don't understand when they said, "Oh, hey, look," and he pulls off his mask. He's like, "Hey, it's me," and you're like sitting there like, "What the fuck? You couldn't have brought anybody else?"
I do think it has to be like that. What if comic book where him and Victor change minds, like their minds literally get swapped, and Victor's mind is in Tony's body and Tony's mind is in Victor's body.
Well, I'd be curious to know who they're going to actually, the body of Victor, who that's going to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I do think that they probably, if they do that, then they would have to cast somebody in Victor's body, but he would be your Tony, like he would be Tony Stark.
No, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying I would be curious to see who that would be. But yes, I mean, the fact that this cast will be bigger than Endgame is surprising as all hell to me, because Endgame literally showed how much superheroes and even, like small cast of villains, but basically majority of superheroes can be in one fucking movie.
And it's bigger than that. And if that wasn't crazy, Secret Wars is supposed to be bigger than Doomsday.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea how the fuck you're going to top all that. I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong, Matt. I mean, I'm going to go, we're both going to, I will make sure we go see that movie, at least Doomsday.
But I mean, I do have trust in the Russo brothers. I think, with them doing Infinity War and Endgame, like they've proven they can do a big budget, movie like Avengers. So I do trust that they could probably pull it off.
It all depends on the Disney executives,
Disney machine,
those guys and the CEO and shit. But yeah.
So another one in July of 26, there's an untitled Spider-Man No Way Home sequel. There's not really any details. It's right in between the two huge Avengers movies. So, I mean, it could be a pretty big movie. Like if it's right in between, like it could implicate like a lot between Secret Wars and Doomsday.
Well, I think it'd be nice to see, maybe this could be either a closing of him, in a sense, kind of giving up the mantle, to Miles, in a sense. It could be, or he could continue and then he could just hang out with Miles for like another movie or two, whatever. I don't fucking know how long they're going to do that for, especially with Sony. But, I mean, at least bringing in Miles too kind of helps, kind of progress.
Well, the rumors is that he's supposed to be in Secret Wars. So
no, correct. But I'm just saying that's not for another couple of years from now. But I mean,
right.
We'll see how this works. I mean, because this is probably going to be, so let's see. So yeah, Doomsday will come out, and then this No Way Home sequel literally will be right after that. So literally, trying to see both of them at the same time, or at least, trying to see, my guess is you'll probably see Peter, and then I don't know if you'll ever see Miles.
Peter.
Hey, Peter. You'll probably see Miles in the No Way Home sequel, but I don't know if you'll see him in the Doomsday. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because I'd be curious if he was in that too.
I'm assuming the Spider-Man is not going to be a Marvel, like a Disney Marvel. I'm assuming it's a Sony Marvel.
I don't know.
I don't know how they can do a movie like Avengers and then do, because you have, the timeline is weird because it's like,
well, no, you're right.
May 1st, and then this one's like July. It's literally 2 months after. So
not even 2 months. I mean,
how do you work on Avengers Doomsday and then go, you're working on Spider-Man and Avengers at the same time?
Yeah. No,
I'm assuming this Spider-Man is not going to be done by Disney. It'll be done probably by Sony.
Yeah, I mean, Disney's probably allowing, certain things or whatever if they need certain things.
They don't have to allow shit because they don't own Spider-Man at all. So
no, I understand, but anyways, not the point.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and then our favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, Blade. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That'll never get made. No, I mean, because that one's a joke. That one is just seriously not even.
For a fucking vampire comic book, how can you not make a fucking movie? It's not that hard. It's a vampire hunter.
Well, and not only...
it's not that hard. You already have 3 movies that were already made that you can use. There's been a TV show. There's been an animated show.
Don't even mention the actual live action TV show because we already looked that up. That was
well, hey, it might be dumb, but you still have it. There's, you could still take something away from it.
I mean,
it might suck ass, but you still have content there to be like, hey, there's a blueprint here. We can write something.
I agree.
Hey, you can go to I can go to ChatGPT right now and be like, hey, can you write me a new Blade script?
Bro, I understand about Blade. The problem is we all know is that if they have an actual director that could stay on the goddamn, film, that would be great. Have writers that could stay on the goddamn film, that would be great. And make sure that the actor could actually agree to the film. Because I don't think Mahershala Ali is probably at this point going to be playing Blade unless he is. I don't know.
I wouldn't hold my breath at this point. I mean, it's kind of like, hey,
lost cause at this point.
We are going to do a Blade movie, but it may not come out until
2035 or 20 whatever.
5039 at this point. Who fucking knows?
5039. Jesus Christ! At that point, you might as well just leave it alone.
But some of the shows, I don't even know. I guess the one that I'm really looking forward to is probably Marvel Zombies.
Well, I'm just surprised that they're coming out with literally show after show after show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if really anybody's really that interested in Vision Quest or Wonder Man, to be honest. But
so I know Wonder Man, I knew of him a little bit, wasn't too much into him, but I guess it's kind of like the same thing as like Mr. Marvel in DC, basically. Like the same similar idea, but like different in some ways.
That sounds like a bore fest.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. It's kind of weird. It's kind of different, but yeah. And then Eyes of Wakanda, again, the Vision Quest. I mean, Vision Quest. I'm pretty sure is following the Vision that was like the white Vision of like the Scarlet Witch.
And I did hear about that, and again, not super interested.
No, I
but like Eyes of Wakanda and Marvel Zombies, those are both animated shows. So like, if people, I think people will probably more watch like the Marvel Zombies. I think both of them might be like popular. Well, like they're not going to be like, oh my gosh, did you see Marvel Zombies today? Like it's not going to be like Daredevil.
No. That's what you're right. It's not going to be like Daredevil,
and you're not going to hear people going like, oh man, that episode of Wonder Man was fucking awesome. Like.
Well, no, I mean, so that's what I was about to say. I mean, with the Marvel Zombies, though, I was going to say that.
Hey, did you see that episode of Wonder Man? It was awesome.
Wonder Man. No, so the Marvel Zombies, what I was going to say is like, you know how a while back with the What If, like, because you and I were like talking about like, wow,
yeah, it was the best What If episode, and I think that show actually got canceled. By the way,
the What If?
Yeah,
not surprising at this point, but like
it kind of sucked anyways.
Well, the thing was about it is like...
I only watched certain episodes of that. I didn't watch everything. But
the first season I watched all the way through. I think the second one I didn't watch really anything at all, but...
I watched some of this. Like some of the ones that were interesting I watched, but not everything was interesting. It was just like nobody wants to see like any of this stuff. Like we want to see what ifs that are actually interesting.
No, I agree. And all I was going to say is with Marvel Zombies, I mean, the reason why that one episode became so popular was because people are like, wow, this
it's
would
actually
be great.
interesting.
Right. It would be interesting to see. And so, yes,
that's why that's why they're making a whole animated show, because it's actually fucking interesting.
Well, and that was the thing too, that I was like, wow, I'm glad that they're doing something like this.
I mean, there are so many other what if stories that they could have chosen for that show. And I think they just chose the most fucking lame what if like scenarios. Like, I'm going through and I'm like, no, I don't care about any of these.
Of course you don't care about them.
I don't care. Like, Thor does this, Thor does that. It's like, I don't give a shit.
You know what Thor does? He doesn't give a flying fuck what you do. So
like, there's so many other what if like scenarios. Like when you look up the comic books, like that are really cool. Like we talked about the, Dr. Doom and Tony Stark like scenario. They could have done a whole animated episode on just that one book, and it would have made an awesome fucking episode, because it's an awesome an awesome what if scenario.
Absolutely.
And it's completely different than all the other shit that they put on there. Like,
no, it's all the random ass shit. Like, what if T'Challa was replaced? What was it? Star-Lord, as him, or whatever, some stupid shit. And it's like,
fucking deal.
Like, that's cool. Like, I don't give a fuck anyways. But
yeah, I don't know. Like, I do appreciate, like, the one thing I do appreciate with Marvel over DC is that they have more content coming. Like, that's what I do love. But like, the one problem with Marvel that's existing and has existed, probably since like Phase 3, or at the end of Phase 3 at least.
Yeah,
is they're trapped in this like cycle of what's next. Like, they're always we gotta always show like what's next. What are we doing next? Rather than like focusing on what are you guys doing right fucking now.
Well,
like each movie or show, like it feels less than like that complete story that has like the middle, the beginning, the middle, and the end, and ends up, and this is where I'm saying like Thunderbolts is one of these. It ends up being like the puzzle piece that you have to now, like as a fan, you have to try to now fit. Like, where does it fit in the timeline of events? Like, I know it goes there, but like, where does Thunderbolts go in the larger narrative of Doomsday? And that character goes here and that character goes over there, and this one goes way the fuck over there. It's like a puzzle piece that now we're supposed to put together.
Well, and here's the fucked up part too about this is that, what you're just saying about, trying to figure out where all these damn pieces go and trying to figure out like what fits best is like, the first two phases, the reason why they were so fucking amazing is because they set out the story, they laid out the characters, they did all this, they created this like hype, they created all this stuff and they made it so great. And then it was like, great. Okay. And then we were talking about just like, what's next, like, what are we going to do after this? Or like, what's now, like what's going on? The problem was then they would talk about these things. They would be like, okay, this is what we're going to do. But then we were going to wait 2, 3, 4, 5 fucking years, depending on how long we were going to wait for the shit. And they weren't doing it as quick enough, or at least as smart enough to be able to like build upon it. Because technically, if they were smart about certain things, they could have done a lot of things differently, and they could have spread this out more. And also, we could have been in like 2030 by the time we actually could have seen some of this shit anyways, like some of this other crap that we're seeing now.
Yeah,
it could have been waited longer, but they don't want to do that. They're not in that same mode
and that's a problem. I think like, we're going through these phases so fast, and it's like, I understand like, we need to move on and they need to keep going, but like, why focus on what's next? Like, always focusing on what's next. Like, you have these stupid side movies like Thunderbolts and Black Widow, and they're all the same type of movie. They don't fucking matter. They're just filler. Like, the one that matters is Captain America. I think that one has that one is storyline.
Yep.
Thunderbolts, not storyline. It's just whatever happened in the movie, it's filler. You have to take pieces from the movie, not the whole movie, pieces of the movie that is important, and that will happen later on.
Well, if you think about it, all the characters that are in that movie are basically...
I'm not even talking to character. I'm talking what happens in the movie.
I understand
narrative.
That. I'm just saying, what I'm saying is, though, is that all the characters that you probably see in that movie, again, we're talking from...
Oh, 100% all of them are going to be in Doomsday.
Just, hold on. That's not what I was about to say. What I was going to say was because we're talking about filling, is that we're filling in the info about like where these characters are, where they're at that point, because we don't know anything about after the shows that we've watched or the movies or whatever, that where they were at the time. Because if you think about it, some of those characters are from like the Black Widow movie, right? Yeah, and like so on, and like
80% of the people watching that are going to watch that movie don't give a shit either.
No, I'm just saying that in general is like
that fucking ghost chick from Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Well, and that's what I mean. Nobody gives. No, you're absolutely right. No one's going to give a shit about that. And I think that at the end of the day, nobody's going to understand because they're going to be like, oh shit, where do these people come from? Like, well, I have to watch back from way back when to be like, oh, I know who that person is now because we haven't seen them in so fucking long. That's the
like some of the examples of this is like Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Like it felt more like an introduction to Kang, more than it was kind of like this like conclusion for Scott Lang's story. Like it was more about Kang than and that's probably the point of the movie. But we didn't get a whole lot of Scott Lang. Like it wasn't a lot about his story at all. And you look where Kane is now.
Gone.
He's not even in the MCU anymore. Like, pretty much written himself out thanks to his,
allegations. Well, actually, not allegations because they've been confirmed. So,
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. The movie sacrificed like Strange's personal arc and Wanda's emotional depth for multiverse exposition and franchise building. I mean, that was pretty much the whole Doctor Strange. That was that whole movie. Basically sucked that whole thing right out of it just to do that whole multiverse thing.
No, I know. And like, even like this, like Black Widow was dulled because the movie felt like a prologue for Yelena's future rather than a celebration of Natasha's legacy. I mean, yes, but it also there's also some things about it that, it allowed you to see where she came from. That was the only difference. I mean, like, cause I feel like the others were kind of like, they just kind of like, yeah, like kind of nosedived into that shit. Like this one at least kind of explained a little bit, but then you're right. At the very end, yes, that's exactly what it did. It basically just said, here you go, Yelena. Like we're now understanding, like you're the new Black Widow.
And I understand that was probably the point of the movie, but like instead of like celebrating like that legacy that Natasha left, now that she's no longer doing anything in the MCU, right. Now we're like, oh well, now there's a new Black Widow, so you can go fuck yourself now.
Well, because now everyone needs to know. Well, that's the other thing. Nobody knew that Elena was going to take over because we didn't know that. We didn't know who the fuck Elena was until the very end, anyways.
But so some of the thing, the reliance on this forward momentum that like this what next kind of thing, the forward momentum that Marvel does, it just sacrifices that like emotional payoff. And I think this is where phase 1 and the phase 2, like. When you watch Iron Man and you watch some of these movies, like very early on, like they had that emotional payoff.
Oh yeah.
And these movies, like you watch Doctor Strange and Ant-Man and the Wasp and some of these movies, like it's just
a fucking joke.
You're looking at it and you go, oh, I'm so excited for the next Marvel movie. And that's not the emotion like you should have. Like when I watch, when anybody watches Captain America, this new one, you should not be so excited to watch like Doomsday. You should be excited for watching Captain America and that movie. You should be like, man, this movie was so awesome. I can't wait for the next one. But no, I love this movie. I want to love this movie. Now be excited for the next movie they're going to do.
Well, and that's my other thing. It's like, we're jumping ahead to like, I even just said, we even agreed that Daredevil is probably the next best thing we would want to watch. Everything else can go basically fuck itself afterwards because we're not even at that point yet, you know, and we're just waiting for this show to come out. But you're right. I mean, it's lost the hype. It's lost everything about it. The mojo and the magic and everything behind it, it's just gone. And it's sad because, you know, Disney has done very well with Marvel in that regard. But now they're just getting it for just to pump out shit to see if they can get money out of it at this point, you know. And it's pretty sad where, you know, DC at this point, I mean, we've already talked about so much, but like, they're just trying to rebuild their shit, but they've done it so many goddamn times. I think people have lost faith with the fact that when you have a DC reboot, baby, like so many fucking times, you're just to the point where how many fucking times you want to keep doing this all over again?
I really hope that they do it right, but you know, it's really great storytelling, like thrives on high stakes character arcs, like what's called thematic resonance. Like it has to resonate within the theme, you know, like, and when every film, and this is like Marvel and Disney, like this is what they fucking do in like everything, where every film has to plant the seed for future shows or future spin-offs or future crossover events. It becomes much harder to like focus on the story or the hero or the moment that you're watching when you have to focus on the next thing.
Well, so you know what my favorite thing was, and this has always been my favorite, is that ever since that Marvel ever did the Easter eggs, and like right at the end of the movie, and you get to see those scenes or whatever. Do you realize that I've literally sometimes I've gone to the movies, even though it's not technically a Disney or Marvel movie. I've gone and I've literally sat there and watched the end of the credits, hoping that there'd be like a extra scene or something, just because of the fact that I know that it's probably not going to happen for certain films, but I always think of that because that was just, it was special because you always know like, hey, I got to watch until the end because I need to know, is there something at the end that I need to see? You know, and it's sad that, you know, I got so excited over that and it was great. And then like, you know, when you have like some of the newer Disney or the Marvel films, some of them don't even have shit. They don't have those Easter eggs like they used to as much anymore.
No, they still do, but it's more.
But it's not like as much though, depending on which ones you were watching.
Their level of storytelling is not even storytelling anymore because it's become like franchise maintenance. Like they have to maintain like the maintenance of their franchise because everything has to be okay. We're gonna do a story-driven movie. Captain America. And then we're going to do a filler movie, Thunderbolts. And then we'll do another story movie, Fantastic Four. Right? And then obviously next, you know, the very next thing will be Doomsday. Filler movie. Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like, well, so you'll have like a filler movie and maybe like there will be pieces of it that might, but I really would not expect very much because honestly, like, if it does come out in the same year that Doomsday comes out, you're not having Disney's Marvel do it. You're having Sony's version of Marvel do it.
Oh no, I understand that piece because Sony doesn't give a shit. They're just gonna be like, we'll just pump it out, no problem, because they're not gonna compete, and it's like you're not gonna. I'm telling you, like Sony's not gonna win that battle,
and so. You have like that kind of filler movie and they're whether they link it to the main MCU or they keep it to their, SSU, which is their Sony Spider-Man universe.
They keep trying to do that shit, but it's not successful either because I haven't seen Kraven the Hunter, but I am curious to watch it. It does look interesting, but I don't know.
From what I've heard and what I've read, Kraven basically has shit the bed. Oh, that's from what I've read.
It
has not been done well.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, with Marvel, obviously the balance has been off between them really doing great storytelling and them just doing the stupid franchise maintenance crap that they always seem to do. It's just the balance is off. And I think until they can get really back to great storytelling, like some of these things like, Brave New World, might be a great movie. I don't know.
I mean, I know we've been talking kind of shit about it from time to time, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, we'll definitely see.
I mean, if they give the Red Hulk the Green Hulk treatment, then he's going to suck just as much as the the Green Hulk did.
I know, and the problem, like I said, is
make him as much of a pussy fighting Sam Wilson. Like if Sam Wilson can beat the Red Hulk, then
there's a fucking issue.
Then there's a fucking problem because the Green Hulk had a problem fighting the Red Hulk. Well, let me just say that right now.
I know what you're talking about, but I just know that
even though the Green Hulk did beat the Red Hulk, but at first the Red Hulk kicked his ass.
No, but my point is that I do agree with you, and I'm just saying that it's hard when you're trying to get somebody. One, like I said, I don't agree that Harrison Ford should have played him. And the only reason why I say this is because he is old as shit, and that you're only going to get him for so long, and that's all I'm going to say. But I guess Marvel doesn't give a fuck, so you know what? You throw him in, you do whatever. I would have said to just have somebody a little bit younger. Probably, like I've told you before, it could have been somewhere even roughly around Mark Ruffalo's age, actually, I guess it would have had to been a little bit older than Mark Ruffalo. But the point is he at least would have been, I don't know, it could have been a 10, 15-year gap. I don't give a fuck. Sure, somewhere around that age. Yeah, would have been fine. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the point is like, trying to get to, to do that, I mean, it's interesting enough, but I mean, you're only going to have him play that character for so long. Like, there's only so much you can do. You can't have a 90-year-old fucking play the goddamn Red Hulk. Not going to happen.
Well, honestly, I don't think he's doing the Red Hulk scenes, but that's beyond the point anyways. But yeah. Marvel, I think is going to do probably, and I think in the other geeky chat, I did say that DC probably is going to overtake Marvel at some point.
Just not going to be at this exact moment.
It ain't going to be this year.
And it sure probably won't be next year.
I do think Superman is going to be a good movie.
We'll see.
I'm going to just throw it out there. I do think Superman is going to be a good movie. I can't speak for Supergirl for next year, but I do think Superman is going to be a good movie. For Captain America: Brave New World, them spending $500 million.
Oh, I know. It was a big budget
to make that movie. They have to make almost $2 billion just to make a profit.
Again, that's why I just said it's crazy to have a $500 million budget just to create a movie like that. I mean, that's probably one of the most expensive budgets. I don't know if it's the most expensive, but it's probably up there. Because I don't know of too many other films, TV shows, or something like that have a budget like that. Because I don't know what you're exactly looking up right now, but like, it's just, to me, it's crazy. Like when you have almost a $500 million budget just for a film or even a TV show for that matter, that's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm trying to look up the
most expensive one,
the budget for the movie, but it's pretty much like right up there, but
no, since pretty much we're done, after this, it's just crazy that Marvel and DC, like we've talked about many times before, it's crazy to see that they keep doing the same shit all over again. They don't learn from their mistakes. They keep pretending like this doesn't really ever, I don't know, I guess not exist, or just they potentially want it to somehow go away. The only way to fix it is, like we've talked about, either follow the blueprint that you've already created before, get people that you're hopefully going to find that are actually going to be worth the role.
It was actually, right now, like I said, actually, it was like, initially the budget was set for 180.
Holy shit.
But the movie ended up costing 275 plus the 180, and then they did an extra 100 million on reshoots. So 555.
Holy shit.
So yeah,
it's literally insane.
You have to like literally do almost $2 billion, because if you just make $1 billion, you haven't even comped your how much you like spent on making the damn thing.
Well,
so like you have to almost make $2 billion just to, and this movie ain't gonna make two billion.
I mean, I would be surprised if it makes $1 billion.
I would be. I think it has the capability of doing like maybe 1.1.
And that's what I said about
that would be surprising,
right? And that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's got the potential to be a $2 billion movie.
It's not going to be a $2 billion movie. Now, Doomsday,
maybe
could be a 1.5, but it's not going to be a $2 billion. I mean, you would have to have a fucking good ass movie to have.
I know. That's what I mean.
$2 billion movie.
Even Secret Wars. I mean, you'd have to go above and beyond that shit. Like you'd have to prove that Endgame was just a joke. Yeah. That's what I mean. That's why I was like, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, they're going to lose money on Brave New World. I can tell you that.
I know we could talk about this all night, and I know we could, keep going on and on and on.
So I do, just to end the episode real quick, because the next episode that we're going to be doing is going to be our Valentine's Day episode.
Oh boy, this is going to be a fun one, personally.
And we're going to be doing some.
Good.
We're going to be doing some pickup lines.
Yep. And who is our special guest there,
We
Matt?
will have our wives on.
Oh,
and of course,
boy.
that's who we'll be doing pickup lines to.
Oh, yes.
And we'll have some Valentine's Day mishaps, stories from the news that I've seen or read.
Yes.
But the biggest piece of it, we'll be doing that. And then the episode after that, which is our 100th episode.
Dum, dum, dum.
We will be launching some new intro music.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have new graphics, new logo. So we're going, brand new in 2025. So we'll have new everything. It'll be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, now me real quick is, Valentine's Day. Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
And 100%, I want to play our song, our AI song.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
we will on our 100th episode. But I'm just gonna say this real quick. So Valentine's Day. Oh yeah, I can't wait only because I've been, I talked to Allie about it, and she was really excited about it. She was like, I really like coming on here, and I was like doing it. I said, okay, and I said, I'll talk to Matt about maybe we can do some more at some point. I know Danielle's kind of like, fine, I guess I'll come, whatever. I know she's not always big into doing this stuff, and that's okay. But I think she kind of enjoyed it that one time when we were all kind of doing it and laughing. But no, the 100th episode though, I'll say I can't wait only because. Yes, we're trying to do, guys. Again, I like to say we, but I'll say mostly Matt here. Has been doing a lot of the work and has been doing a lot of the, the updates and stuff like that. And we've been kind of like, going back and forth with ideas and stuff. But I mean, the songs, man, and everything that he's going to show you guys and everything else. I'm telling you, it's the bomb. It's just crazy. It's literally crazy that AI, some of it created this shit, and I was like, "Holy crap, this can't even be us." And I was goddamn, just I don't even mind boggled. I don't know. I was so fucking surprised that I was like, "This can't be true." And he was like, "No, this is really it." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So again, when you hear it, you're gonna know. But anyways,
yeah, it's really cool, and it'll be good to have some new intro music.
Oh yeah,
and it's got lyrics.
Oh yeah, well, I mean,
it's not like a whole song, but it's got some lyrics, and I mean the one that we've chosen is it's catchy. It's got
actually
a good.
What we should do is that full version. We should do that full version. We should throw it on our Spotify playlist.
I wish I could, but it's more trickier than that.
Is it trickier?
Yeah.
Shit. All right. Well, never mind. I guess we'll talk about that at a different time then. But anyways, so boys and girls, we're going to say goodnight, adieu, and everything else. But until next time,
stay geeky.